Looking for these better days.
It is Monday, March 9th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. Conference tournaments continue in college basketball. Up next, it is the power conferences getting underway this week. And in the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers snap a skid. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Mac, that's where I want to start, is with that Lakers win yesterday against the New York Knicks. The Lakers had lost 12 straight games against the spread as an underdog. Yep. And yesterday, win outright against the Knicks, 110-97. They were 3.5-point dogs earlier in the morning. LeBron James gets announced out for the game. The line moves to Knicks -5, and it didn't matter. And I was on VSiN last night talking about how much better the Lakers are without LeBron James, and I said, as bettors, we need to take note of this. When LeBron doesn't play and the market moves, like the Knicks went from 3.5 to 5, at that point, we should be the market should move the other way. Like the Lakers should have gone from 3.5-point dogs to 2.5-point dogs with LeBron not playing.
Arguably, I mean, they have played worse with him on the floor this year and last year, so that's like a 150-game sample. I don't think it's crazy to say that the Lakers are better without LeBron than with LeBron, and I don't think it's rocket science, and a lot of people got this loud wrong throughout all of last winter and into the spring, and as we prepared for last year's playoffs. I know they're both geniuses. I know LeBron's IQ from a basketball perspective and Luka's IQ as far as being the chess master and knowing where everyone's going to go and getting all their numbers and passing just at the right time through two guys' hands just over into the corner. It's unmatched. That doesn't mean together one genius plus another genius is not two geniuses. It's one genius and one guy that's aggravated standing on the corner. And there was a time where just raw talent, you could say Dwayne Wade and LeBron James had this going, just raw talent. Didn't matter that they were superfluous for needs. Now it does, because their defense is going to be a problem, and just having two creators that are more youthful and more energetic and more long-term solutions for the Lakers together, and Austin Reeves and Doncic, is not it shouldn't be shocking to us that they just continue, because this is a trend that we've seen now for 2 years, to be better. Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, the Lakers improve with that win to 9-2 with Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves playing and LeBron James not playing. And you and I went over some numbers, yesterday, looking at the net ratings on the two-man game. When it's Luka and Austin Reeves, they're significantly better than when it's LeBron and Luka or LeBron and Austin Reeves.
Yeah, when LeBron and Luka Doncic are on the floor together, that's the worst combination of any of the three pairings, which is pretty telling. This is a Luka team. So when it's just LeBron and it's Luka, that's the most friction as far as LeBron. Hey, I'm half the game here. Austin Reeves isn't playing. It's just me and Luka. That's the worst. The best is no LeBron, yes Luka, and yes Austin Reeves, because people still benefit, just like Luka benefited from Kyrie, to have another guy to handle the ball. But there's a clear pecking order, and I think everyone else is that much more bought in defensively and offensively when you have that clear pecking order. So the number one two-man lineup for the Lakers, as far as the big three are concerned, Luka and Austin Reeves. The worst one by far, and that's +6, which is like a championship contending team, will be like +6 to +10. And the worst -3 or like a 30-win team is Luka and LeBron together on the floor together.
Well, elsewhere yesterday, and again, we have to monitor this, because if LeBron gets announced on some of these games, I definitely think there's an advantage to playing the Los Angeles Lakers, especially getting more points. Like, Lakers were 3.5-point dogs. They got them at 5. Like, it's great. They won outright, but you had that extra cushion with LeBron getting announced out. Elsewhere yesterday, the Celtics, a 109-98 win over the Cavaliers. Jason Tatum in his second game back, 20 points in 27 minutes, Mackenzie. What did you make of Tatum's second game? And do you agree with the market movement now that the Celtics are the team to beat in the Eastern Conference? Up on FanDuel, the Celtics +195 to win the East. The Cavaliers +280.
So this the last time we talked was +250, and we were asking it was overreaction. I do not think so. I think it's still not an overreaction, and I was thinking about this time last year, there were two title contenders that stood above everybody else by far. The Oklahoma City Thunder were a close second, and the reigning champion, the Boston Celtics. If you were just in a coma for the last year and you said, all right, well, the Celtics have the best or second best net rating in the league. They have all the guys that made them the best team, net rating wise over the last 3 years. Why are they considered the fifth best team in the East? And knowing what we know, all right, injuries, we don't expect Tatum to be back, but without shooting great, he's making his impact known. And I think that's very bullish for how confident he is and that he's going to return to form. I think the Celtics are the second best team in the league. And in fact, because of the way the Spurs are spurting 15-1 since February 1st, I think if I had one most likely to get to the finals team, it would be the Celtics, even more than the Thunder, even more than the Spurs, because I think those are the three teams that are of that caliber in the league.
Well, let's talk about the Spurs. Their odds to win the Western Conference, plus 450. Thunder are minus 125. The Spurs, a 145-120 win over the Rockets yesterday. Victor Wembanyama with 29 points, 8 boards, 4 blocks. The Spurs, if you look at the net ratings in the NBA, in the last 15-game sample and the last 10-game sample. The last 15-game sample, they are number one. And the last 10-game sample, they're right there with the Charlotte Hornets at number one. So, no team has been better than the Spurs and the Hornets in the last 15 to 10 games or so. But really, it's the San Antonio Spurs. I know we've kind of toyed around with this idea of them to win the Western Conference. But honestly, we saw them beat the Thunder multiple times already this year. Yep. Why are we not just piling in on plus 450 to win the Western Conference?
I think we should be. We should definitely be on that side. I think that's the best odds in the West. The fact that Victor Wembanyama had 13 shots in this game, De'Aaron Fox had 15 shots in this game, and they put up 145 points, the most that they've scored this season. That is a very bullish sign to me, because the best two players on any team can get 20 shots up if they need to, if it's a close back and forth game. These guys are passing the ball, taking when the opportunity comes to them naturally in the offense, and they can all do more. So that's a great problem to have. Even Dylan Harper, scoring 11 points per game, had 19 in this game off the bench. I feel like he could do more. And you don't need to rely on a rookie because you have so much ahead of them. I was wrong on this team. I picked them to go under their 45.5 win total. But I think I trust the recent numbers. Unlike the Hornets, where it's all right, well, they're all shooting great. They're all, playing ahead of their heels. I actually see championship pedigree in a team because of Victor Wembanyama. They have something that every other team has to game plan for and doesn't have an easy answer for.
Well, let's take a look at the schedule tonight here in the association. The 76ers are at the Cavaliers, so Cleveland trying to bounce back after that loss. Up on FanDuel, the Cavs are 11.5-point favorites. The Sixers are going to be without Tyrese Maxey, who's going to be evaluated for that sprained finger or whatnot. It feels like a good bounce back spot here for Cleveland. I just don't see the Sixers without Maxey putting up much of a fight here.
Yeah, it's the second night of a back-to-back, but it was a very early start time on Sunday. So this being an evening game, I feel like that gives them enough window. Maybe you downgrade it from being a point to being worth half a point. I think the Cavs are the side here.
All right, we also have the big game tonight between the Nuggets and the Thunder in OKC, where the Thunder are 7.5-point favorites up on FanDuel, Mackenzie.
All right, so Shea is back and back to MVP form now. And this is the same line that it was in his first game back a couple weeks ago, 7.5, which was the same line as the Game 7 line. For BetterDay.com, I wrote up the free play saying it's not the same game if SGA is coming back from injury. Well, now with a few games under his belt, it is the same game, and Aaron Gordon still isn't back. So I think the Thunder should have been upgraded here. They haven't been, so I would lay the 7.5.
Okay. And then also tonight, the Knicks doing the LA double dip. They are taking on the Clippers, and up on FanDuel, the Knicks are 2-point favorites.
I'd lean to the Clippers here. I feel like the Knicks, I don't know, they seem like they go out in LA. They seem like that kind of team.
I felt that there was a missed betting opportunity yesterday with the Pistons losing to the Miami Heat. Not just because the Heat are playing good basketball lately, but I thought about it more yesterday as I was looking at the score. The Pistons now have lost 4 straight games, by the way. But imagine the Pistons, they lose that game to the Brooklyn Nets, pathetic loss, right? But then they travel out of the cold, frigid temperature in Detroit. They go down to South
They're still
Beach.
the number 1 seed. Yeah.
Exactly. They go out in South Beach. They probably went out late, on Saturday night. Oh, by the way, it was daylight savings. So they leave the club
That's
at
true.
2 a.m., but it's really 3 a.m., right? So they lose an hour of sleep. No wonder they came out and they scored 16 points in the first quarter.
It's a great call. The daylight savings handicap.
Yeah. Well,
It
it's
all
more
came
about
together. You like a beautiful mind just
it
during
was
the
yeah,
game.
it was more about the South Beach handicap of going out of the cold weather of Detroit into the warmth of South Beach, and then you throw in the daylight savings handicap. We should have been on the Heat first quarter. That's a big miss by me. I should have been on that.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every night. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into bigger wins. With the College Basketball Parlay Profit Boost, here's how it works. Build any college hoops parlay you like. The early tip, the rivalry game, the ranked matchup, the late night West Coast shootout, mixed spreads, totals, props, whatever fits your read of the slate. Then just apply your profit boost and instantly bump up that potential payout. Go safe, go spicy, go with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style. Now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com/believe to get started. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with the Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Minimum 2-leg parlay required. Bonus issued as a non-withdrawable boost builder tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. For Louisiana, call 1-877-770-7867.
College basketball conference tournaments continuing here as the power conferences get underway. Number 12 Gonzaga is in action here tonight against Oregon State. Semifinals of the West Coast Conference Tournament. The Zags are laying 18.5, and we'll see if we get that Gonzaga-St. Mary's collision course that we seem to always get every single season. As far as tickets to the big dance that will be punched here tonight, or here on Monday, we have the championship of the Sun Belt between Georgia Southern and Troy, and then we have the championship of the SoCon between Furman and East Tennessee State. East Tennessee State's like a 1.5 point favorite, but that could flip as well. So those are two tickets that will be punched to the big dance today. I wanted to bring up a topic with you, Mackenzie. I tweeted this last night, and boy, I mean, the responses were like, people just like crush any type of different idea. I'm not saying that I need change in college basketball, right? But yesterday, Navy lost on a buzzer beater to Boston University in the semifinals of the Patriot League tournament. Navy was the best team in the Patriot League. They were 17-1 in conference play this year. But they lose on a buzzer beater, and now they will not make it to the NCAA tournament. Okay? So they lose in their conference tournament. They dominate the regular season. They win the regular season championship, and now have nothing to show for it, as they will not make the NCAA tournament. Should rules be changed to put more emphasis on winning the regular season, as opposed to just rewarding the automatic bid in the NCAA tournament to whoever gets hot in a 3-day stretch.
Absolutely. I don't understand the argument. Like we're already rewarding randomness by having the tournament. That should mean that we want to bring in the least hot streakers and the more legitimate contenders, because we know it's going to be random once they get into the tournament.
Yeah, one thing that I suggested, and this is just a suggestion. I'm trying to think outside the box here, okay? And the responses I got on Twitter were like, just don't lose. Okay. I said my solution to bid stealing in March Madness was to add an if game to every conference tournament. And I understand the logistics of this might be impossible, right? With like the television ratings and whatnot. But basically, by winning the regular season, I am awarding the regular season champion a double elimination spot in the conference tournament. So they have to lose twice, whereas everybody else just has to lose one time.
That's pretty fun.
And so now it's like, listen, if the regular season champion wins the conference tournament and end the discussion, they get the bid into the NCAA tournament, right? But let's say they lose in the semifinals or the finals, then they just play again. Like, basically what I'm saying is, a simpler way of putting it is, I want to have a championship game between the regular season champion and the tournament champion. And if it's the same team, you don't need that extra game. And if it's a different team, you need that extra game. So the tournament champ plays against the regular season champ, and that's how we decide who gets the bid into the NCAA tournament.
I don't mind that at all. Would it be weird if there was a final and then it's like last second drama, you make a buzzer beater 3. All right, great. Now we have to play the same team again the next game.
No, because that's why it's an if game. It's if necessary. So like if you're like, listen, I play tournaments all the time in travel softball, right? And it's a double elimination bracket. There's an if game. If you win the winner's bracket and you go to the championship game, like you're undefeated, you have to lose twice. You know, if you win that first championship game, that's it. The tournament's over. But if you lose, you play the if game. Like that's all I'm asking for is just have an extra game and reward the regular season in college basketball. You play, listen, Miami of Ohio just went 31-0, and people are talking about not putting them in the NCAA tournament. What if they lose on a buzzer beater Hail Mary from full court? All of a sudden, they're not going to be in the NCAA tournament, and we're just going to ignore 31-0 in the regular season? No,
by the way, good call by us on the +5.5. We knew that last game would go down to the buzzer.
Absolutely. So I just want to reward the regular season champs in college basketball and give them, something extra. And I do like it how some of these smaller conferences do, especially the West Coast Conference, where it's the number 1 and number 2 seed are automatically in the semifinals. So you could do that too. You could just say, hey, regular season conference champ is automatically in the championship game. And that's how, but then again, you're doing the whole rest versus rust thing, right? And they have a week off before they're playing again. And then you can make that as an excuse. But then again, that's what we see in the NCAA tournament anyway. These teams go a week without playing.
Let's just make it 256. Let's just take out the middleman. 256
well, that's what they want to do, Mackenzie. They want to make it 72. It's just ridiculous. Just let everybody in. Just let everybody in then at this point. You're right.
Drama on drama on drama.
Yeah, it is absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. Well, also yesterday in college basketball, Mackenzie, this was one of the strangest endings I think I've ever seen in a basketball game. And as somebody who has watched a lot of hours of basketball, I need your take on this. So Michigan is a 10-point favorite over Michigan State. Now, I bet it early. I took Michigan State +9.5. So obviously, I got the worst of the number because I could have gotten 10.5 later on in the day, right? So they were anywhere from a 9.5 to a 10 to a 10.5 point line, depending on when you bet it and where you bet it. Okay. So, and I always preach to people, you can always play back. I could have played back, but I thought Michigan State was live the entirety of the game, right? Until late in the second half. Technical foul on Fears, and that's a whole topic for another day, but Michigan then pulls away. Michigan is up, 10 points late in the game, Mackenzie. And Michigan State's fouling. They're doing the free throw game, the foul game, right?
Sure.
So, or they're down, it's an 8-point lead, right? Excuse me. So they do the free throw game. They foul. And Michigan, to give them credit, this is what good teams do. You make free throws. Michigan finished yesterday 26 of 29 from the free throw line. That's what elite teams do in March. You make your free throws, right? So it's an 8-point game, and Michigan State fouls. Michigan makes 2 free throws, and then Michigan State gets the, quick layup to cut it back to an 8-point game. Okay? Cool.
All right.
Then, again, fouls, 2 free throws, quick layup, back to an 8-point game. So it kept going from a 10-point game to an 8-point game, from a 10-point game to an 8-point game, right? Now, this was the entire final minute. How many times, I'm thinking to myself, as somebody who had Michigan State plus 9.5, I'm like, how many times are they going to do this, right? Like, at what point do you concede the game and stop fouling? That's what I want to know. Like, as someone that you watch basketball, Mackenzie, at what point in an 8-point game do you stop fouling?
Well, if you care about winning the game, and that's not the only thing you might care about, I'd say you stop fouling if it's 3 possessions or more with 25 seconds to go, or if it's 2 possessions or more with 15 seconds to go. That said, maybe you just want to get as much practice doing the foul game as possible if you're a college coach. And it's not like in the NBA where they're like, go hit the showers. They're like, well, we'll get extra run, we'll get extra reps, let's just keep doing this. And they do it indefinitely.
Okay, so Michigan, there was a technical foul on Carson Cooper on Michigan State with 1:11 left. Michigan makes the 2 free throws, okay? And now it's an 81-72 game. Or, 81-72 game. And
3-possession game.
3-possession game. Michigan misses a shot. They get their own rebound, and Michigan State fouls them. Okay. So now it becomes 2 free throws. It's an 83-72 game with 54 seconds left. Michigan State makes a layup. Now it's 84-73, and then they foul. Okay. Michigan makes 2 free throws, or 1 free throw, excuse me. Now it's an 84-74 game, 10-point game. Michigan State gets a layup. Now it's an 8-point game. They foul again. There's 35 seconds left. Michigan makes both free throws. Now it's a 10-point game. Guess what? They foul again. Okay? They make a basket and foul again. Now there's 29 seconds left. It is a 10-point lead here, or excuse me, a 8-point lead. They foul again.
Game. Yep.
They foul again. 28 seconds left. It becomes a 10-point game. Michigan State then gets fouled on a 3 with 23 seconds left. You're thinking, hey, 3 free throws. This is great.
Just make all 3, please.
He misses the first one. He makes the next 2. So now it's back to an 8-point game with 23 seconds left. Mackenzie, they fouled again intentionally. Okay? So now I'm thinking they're just going to keep playing this out, right?
Right.
So Michigan makes both free throws to make it 90-80. And then when Michigan State gets the ball, they dribble out the clock.
What? That's absurd.
They dribble it out, and the kid shoots a buzzer beater and misses the buzzer beater.
So the last thing they wanted to do was be down 10? Like, that was like, all right, we're down 10. Now we can call off the dogs. Wow.
Mackenzie, I'm wondering if they knew the spread.
It's pretty widely known,
and
these
now,
spreads.
But here's what I'm thinking. I'm actually thinking that Izzo wanted to cover the 10. Okay? Which is why
10.5.
Which is why with 22 seconds left, instead of again a quick basket and another foul, he told his guys to stop. They dribbled out the 22 seconds and then shot a buzzer beater. So they were either going to cover or not cover, you know?
They were either going to cover the original 9.5 or at least cover the 10.
Yes. I mean,
that's the only logical thing, because if they were willing to let it go out,
why did they foul with 22
seconds left?
Yep. If you weren't going to score quickly, again, why did you foul again with 22 seconds left?
The only thing that can happen in the last 22 seconds after you foul and get the ball back is you miss and then foul again, or they score at a run out. So it's like the thing you avoided was being down 11 for whatever reason.
Very strange ending.
Brian Windhorst fingers in the air.
Very strange ending there. World Baseball Classic continuing tonight. The United States takes on Mexico. So very curious to see the run lines in these games have been just ridiculous. The United States did cover the 9.5 runs on the run line in their first game against Brazil, but they did not cover. They did not cover the 8.5 runs against Great Britain. They only won the game by 8. Total in this game tonight between Mexico and the United States up on FanDuel is 11.5 runs. 11.5 runs.
Give me the over.
Yeah, I like the over. Yeah, I do like the over. The United States up on FanDuel, still minus 110 to win the tournament. The Dominican Republic, the second favorite at plus 340. And Japan, the third favorite at plus 410. Despite being 3-0, Japan has been overtaken by the Dominican Republic because Japan's actually been, they haven't looked great in this tournament. Yep. They had to have a come from behind win. Cover. Yeah, they had to have a come from behind win yesterday against Australia. Like, they have not looked great here in this tournament. So, Dominican Republic just looks like a machine right now. That's going to be real fun if they take on the United States of America, or Estados Unidos, as it's often referred to.
Canada.
On the schedule, on the ice tonight, the Kings and Blue Jackets are actually going to play a makeup game from a game that was canceled back in January. Columbus, a minus 130 home favorite. This is like a matinee game, so it's actually going to be a 4 o'clock Eastern time game here in Columbus today. And then the Rangers take on the Flyers in Philadelphia. Philly minus 155. The Flames are at the Capitals. Washington minus 192. Mammoth visit the Blackhawks. Utah minus 192. Senators are at the Canucks. And Ottawa minus 218. We didn't talk much NFL, Mackenzie, over the weekend, just like with some free agent news and whatnot. There was a big deal where Trent McDuffie gets traded from the Kansas City Chiefs to the Rams, and then the Rams just gave him a record-breaking contract extension. This is a big move for the Rams. Like, obviously, the contract was like a big reason why he gets traded, like, from Kansas City.
Yep.
But the Rams were already a team that people loved last year, where they're going to run it back another year here with Matt Stafford, shoring up the defensive side of the football with a guy like McDuffie now. I'm starting to like the Rams a lot more than I already did.
The market agrees with you. They were pretty much co-favorites with the Seahawks, and now the books I'm looking at, they are now standalone favorites. And the Rams have a history of doing this. You could say it's overpaying. You could say it's putting their franchise on a credit card, but it works out. If you can get these big free agents and front load all of their money, you can worry about it later. And this is definitely an all-in year. Maybe Matthew Stafford's last year in LA. So the market loves them, and I tend to agree. But I like the Niners at 19-1. Maybe that's me being biased, but of the two bets, come on.
Well, of course you like the Niners at whatever odds they're going to give you.
Yeah, whatever. Just take my money.
Just take my money. And another move that we haven't had a chance to discuss because it came down on Friday was the Raiders trading Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens. And what a huge move this was for the Baltimore Ravens. For the Raiders, obviously it's a transition for them, moving away from Crosby, and they're going to figure things out with Mendoza and whatever that team's going to look like this year. But now the Ravens getting a bona fide pass rusher, something that they really lacked. Despite the fact that they had, good defense, they had good linebackers, now you get a bona fide pass rusher on that defensive front. It's a huge boost to the Baltimore Ravens.
I think it's a great deal for the Ravens. I think if you look at what Micah Parsons cost and what Max Crosby costs, they're not too different of players for this to be so much less of a haul. You're probably going to give them like the 25th and the 30th pick over the next 2 years if you're the Ravens. That's fine. The Ravens odds upgraded a little bit. They were 11-1 on DraftKings. Now they are tied with the Bills at plus 950. So essentially, right after the Rams and the Seahawks, they're there.
Yeah, well, they're the favorite. They're the favorite to win the AFC up on FanDuel, plus 440 to win the AFC.
If you look at what they've done badly, and Lamar Jackson gets a lot of heat, is blowing fourth quarter leads and second half leads and big leads. But offensively, if you look on a per play basis, they're not much worse in the fourth quarter and the third quarter. Derrick Henry might have fumbled a couple more times, but defensively, like we saw week 1 last year against the Bills when they gave up 41, they've completely fallen off. Part of that is losing the Seahawks coach,
Mike McDonald.
What's his name again? Mike McDonald. And a part of that is never having that guy as a pass rusher. Now they do.
I want to remind you guys, the NBA Game Center is now exclusively for Better Day Insider and Premium members. So if you enjoyed your free preview last week If you had some fun with the NBA Game Center, I know we had fun. I know our members had fun sending me their bet slips with the player props. Mackenzie, I know yesterday you hit some player props using the NBA Game Center and the prop projections. It is now exclusively for Better Day Insider and Premium members. So you want to make sure that you click on the link on our homepage, learn how you can elevate your betting game by becoming a Better Day Insider or Better Day Premium member today. More Major League Baseball content is coming as we get closer and closer to the start of the Major League Baseball regular season. We have to get through the World Baseball Classic first, but we will have baseball content coming up on betterday.com, and we continue to take looks every single day at the conference tournaments there in college basketball. Follow us on social media as well. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.